our country, our pride. Mzansi, known as the springboard into Africa. From the beaches of Durban to the Table Mountain in Cape Town to our very own Jozi. This is South Africa, our home. The golden thread of connectivity and tech advancements are helping us overcome the digital divide. Today, learners have access to technology to further their ambitions and realize their dreams of becoming a world-famous heart surgeon, or designing a building higher than the Burj Khalifa, or starting a local retailer with branches that go beyond the African borders. Using liquid satellite connectivity, doctors have been able to connect with patients in remote villages. Goods that come into our harbors are transported effortlessly to their correct destinations because of our excellent subsea cable connectivity. A secure financial services sector that adopts technological advancements to provide its customers with the best services. Our data centers have made cloud computing possible for South African businesses and guarantee that their data never leaves the local borders. Liquid's network goes through the vital economic hubs and even remote villages, bringing connectivity to businesses and homes alike. Strategic partnerships between the national and local governments, MNOs and ISPs are helping us contribute to the development of a digitally transformed South Africa. We now have African solutions to African challenges. We are not left behind. Mzansi is liquid.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2021 Connect Conference Day 3, brought to you by Barbway and Cloud and Data Stream partner CBRE. Enjoy the next session.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the next session in the Connect 2021 conference, brought to you by the Digital Council Africa. We're very privileged to have a phenomenal speaker with us that's joining us today, focusing on the cloud conversation. So this morning we've had a lot of talk around cloud and data adoption. We've listened to where the market is going, the growth in the market, and we're really fortunate to have another excellent speaker joining us today. So welcome Winston Ritson, who's the Group Head of Cloud for Liquid Intelligent Technologies. So by way of introduction, I'm just going to touch on Winston's background. He's got more than 20 years of experience across the telco and cloud space. And he's built his career upon exploring new opportunities and realizing them by simplifying the approach and streamlining focus. In his 20-year career, he's worked in several African countries, focusing on establishing and growing new business units within established business units. He's most excited by the opportunity to be a driver of change and to be an outlier. He started his current role with Liquid in 2017 as an understanding that the telco paradigm needed to change. And in 2021, that culminated into organizational transformation and brand change. In his previous role, Winston was a Chief Operating Officer as well as Head of Engineering, also a passionate blogger, chef, and even a security guard, amongst others. His role at Liquid is to build and grow the cloud business across the African continent. He leads a team of really talented people self-driven individuals that's working together to build Africa's largest cloud solution provider. In Winston's words, Liquid is building the ecosystem to help resellers thrive and their customers succeed. And he says this, simply put, my team and I are creating Africa's cloud. Welcome, Winston. Allow me to thank you for your time and sharing some of your knowledge and expertise with us today on this platform. You're going to talk on a conundrum that we know that many companies are facing at the moment. That's the simplification of telephony for African businesses. And we know that the COVID-19 pandemic has had a massive impact on companies. And you're going to have a different view of this today, looking more at the role of the traditional PBX maybe, or just how voice communication has been affected in this time.
Yeah, well, thank you for that intro. It's nice to hear one's bio every now and then. It definitely does change one's view of what they have and haven't accomplished. So I will be speaking about where telephony is, what Liquid is doing from a telephony perspective, and also doing a first. So this is our opportunity as Liquid Intelligent Technologies to introduce a brand new product. So you guys are definitely the first to hear it. So this is One Voice for Operator Connect. It is a product that we've spent months and months developing in conjunction with Microsoft. And it really is going to be a driver for additional value from a telephony perspective for businesses. But I thought I'll start the discussion around building a whole new world of intelligence, AI, African intelligence. And that is exactly what Liquid is. Liquid is no longer Liquid Telecom, it is now Liquid Intelligent Technologies. And this is our first big product in this new paradigm that we're operating in. So welcome to all your viewers. Once again, Liquid, just to reintroduce people, is a Pan-African, or we built ourselves on a Pan-African network, world-class data centers, and we are enabling and enabled by Microsoft to offer transformative technologies to our end users. But beyond that, we've also explored, and you may have heard this before, we've got 100,000 kilometers of fiber, the first provider to do north to south and south to north, Cape to Cairo. And we're currently working on our east to west strategy. All the lines in pink on this map are Liquid Telecom fiber. This is really us putting down connectivity so that everyone on the continent has the ability to access great networking. To speak a little further and to delve into who we are and what we're doing, at our core, we are a networking company, and we are across 13 countries. We've recently introduced cloud and data center into our portfolio, and we're currently building out our cybersecurity wings. So between cloud and data center, we need cloud networking. This is how businesses get from their premises into the cloud, and how they use their resources in the cloud between multiple clouds. In addition, we need to secure the clouds that people have invested in. A lot of companies have moved their infrastructure from on-prem and into the cloud, and that infrastructure itself needs to be secure. We've all heard of data breaches across Kenya, South Africa. Multiple large companies have been victims of data breaches. In addition, we understand that all your users are accessing the cloud from many different devices. It's no longer as easy as securing your main office. You now have to secure how people access from within their homes. And this is the suite of products that we are building as a business. And onto sort of what we're really going to focus on today, which is telephony. The workplace is changing. It is now fully hybrid. I think for anyone who is an office worker, there is no going back to how work used to be. And a large driver of that are video conferencing, modern chat messaging apps. And the one we'll be focusing on today is Teams from Microsoft. So there's about 145 million daily active users on Teams. That's a lot of employed people discussing. There's 200 million meeting participants. regularly. Most of the tasks can be done remotely. And nearly everyone who has an office job or is an information worker would like to have the opportunity to work remotely when it suits them. We've also seen from numerous surveys, the stats on this particular slide are from Microsoft themselves, that there is an increase in productivity when people are working remotely. They're not desk bound and bound to office times. They can work when time suits them. As we all know, some people are night owls, other people operate better in the mornings, and working from home helps that. And a tool like Teams definitely drives that. So what are the core features within Teams and Teams Business Voice which we offer? So all your chats, your calls, your meetings, your files are in one central place. This really helps when we start to discuss POPIA, GDPR. How is your business compliant from a data policy, data sovereignty, data security, as well as customer security perspective? If you've got customer documents on WhatsApp and all these other tools, how do you ensure that they're not shared outside of your business? This is where a central function like Teams comes in. In Teams, you're able to turn conversations into meetings. You can go straight from messaging into a call, or straight from messaging into booking a meeting, or you can even start to share documents, edit and track live, so that you don't have different versions of documents flying around, and you don't have to leave the Teams ecosystem to do your work. You can also manage projects. There's Planner within Microsoft, which is a project management tool that can be embedded in Teams and help your business be far more productive. And in addition, you can sync across mobile to desktop versions of the applications. So what are the functions that come when you start to add calling to Teams? So we are able to set call forwarding within Teams, which means if someone calls your Teams line and you're not available, it can be then routed onto a mobile device, for example. You can also transfer a device or transfer a call. If your call has started on a mobile device, you can then move it onto your desktop or vice versa, i.e. you can do more than one thing. You can go for a walk and take a call at the same time. You can search and find previous conversations. You can do call queues. You can have caller ID so that you know exactly who's calling. You can have enterprise calendar routing, an integrated dial pad, and you can make and receive video calls or record voicemail for the times that you're not at your office. So all these features seem like a lot and a ton to get into your business, but what does it really look like when we say it's one voice for Operator Connect? We understand that Teams, as we've all gotten used to, is fairly simple and easy to understand. Migrating from WhatsApp into Teams is not that much of a stretch. But how do you take your Teams client and make it a full business suite, much like a unified collaborative tool? You add extensions or normal dial-in numbers, i.e. DIDs. So much like your cell phone number, you can have a number assigned to your Teams. So what does One Voice for Operator Connect bring? It brings voice. Your traditional PSTN calling, i.e. pick up a landline, phone someone on Teams, or vice versa. When you're on Teams, phone someone's mobile number or phone a landline. You can do video messaging. You can have present, are you available, do not disturb, or away. You can set up conferencing. You can collaborate on documents. You can even have mobility. These are some of the benefits of our One Voice tool. So a little deeper, what is One Voice and why is it the first for Africa? So on the map, we've got the countries where Liquid is launching One Voice. That's Kenya, South Africa, Uganda, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Those are all the countries where we have a voice license and we're able to offer users local numbers. So if you're a South African, you'll have a +27 number. If you're Zimbabwe, +263. If you're Zambia, +264, and so on and so forth. What that brings is it allows PSTN calling to your Teams environment and directly manage that from the Teams admin center with no additional hardware. So if you're a business that has typically bought people additional phones, so you have a mobile handset for personal use and then you have a mobile handset for business use, Operator Connect gets rid of that. You can do everything within your Teams application. You have a dial pad which you can activate, and you can then from that dial pad call any of your contacts in your phone. You can also give out that number to any of your contacts so that they can call you. They don't need to have Teams on their side. They can call you from any type of PSTN. So any normal telephone can call you on Operator Connect. So it's also advantageous for businesses because you don't have to invest in desktop hardware. So all your users may have a laptop or may have a desktop. They can simply use that laptop or that desktop to initiate calls. It is purely activating functionality within Teams that is currently not available. And all this is very simple. If you've heard of Teams before, you may have also heard of direct routing. So I'll go through these three different ones. So Teams Business Voice is a liquid solution. What we do is we allow enterprise-grade calling within Teams that delivers a full unified comms experience. But in addition, if you're a business that has invested in SBCs or you've got some telephony that has been customized for your requirements, for example, you're running call centers or you're running some sort of AI that you've developed that needs your specific type of call recordings, we can do that with direct routing. All direct routing is really doing is extending your on-prem telephony into the cloud so that your users can be totally mobile with their extension or their direct dialing numbers. They do not no longer need to be office bound. Finally, the crux or sort of why we're here today is Operator Connect. And this platform allows businesses to choose their own PSTN carrier. It's very similar to direct routing in the sense that it enables normal calling in Teams, but what it does is it simplifies that journey. Typically, if you wanted to extend your SBCs into the cloud, you needed a full, architecture diagram. You needed someone to map out in terms of where your minutes are going, how the voice call is routed. There was a lot of complexity around that. But with Operator Connect, what Liquid has done is we engaged very heavily with Microsoft, allowing us to be the first on the continent to operate. And part of that was connecting our network directly to Microsoft's network. This allowed us to offer an SLA, so service level agreement, so that people know that their voice calls will terminate correctly, the voice quality will be good, and there is back-to-back assurance between Liquid, who are currently a wholesale provider across 6 countries, and Microsoft, that are a global ISV with multiples of investment in terms of voice. So who is Operator Connect for? We see it as Microsoft customers. If you've got Office 365, you've already got Teams. It is just one additional license onto your Teams that'll allow it to make a call. However, if you're an enterprise and you've got an E5, you already have all the licenses needed to activate Operator Connect. All you need to do is go onto your Teams admin portal, look for operators in the Microsoft portal and select Liquid, and you'll be then able to drive from there your full provisioning experience. If you're an SMB and you're just starting up and you want to ensure that all your users have the requisite tools without investing very heavily in PBXs or new landlines or mobile numbers, Operator Connect is for you, totally virtual and multinationals. We're across 6 countries, so it is very easy for multinationals to activate multiple territories at once. It is all through a web portal, so you do not need to have multiple journeys or some multiple agreements in many different countries with multiple different rates of minutes. Everything is driven through a web portal. So why one voice for Operator Connect? What is the difference to this, to just going out there and buying a SIM card for your employees and giving it out? Firstly, fast provisioning. As I said, it's a web portal. It's integrated with Teams Admin Center. So if you have already got your Microsoft licenses, it's exactly the same experience. So your current IT personnel will be able to provision licenses, provision users, and do all the requisite tools. So if someone leaves the business, you don't need to remember to cancel a contract and do all these sort of things. When you cancel their Microsoft 365 license, you cancel their Teams license, and in addition, that cancels the Operator Connect license. So one click does it all for you. OPEX, so it's local billing. In all those 6 countries, you will be billed locally in a local currency, which makes it easy from a VAT perspective. You don't have to worry about transferring money across or central bank rules and regulations. The number provisioning is within the Teams admin portal. You get a bulk batch of numbers, for example, 50 numbers, and you can then allocate it to your individual users. The access to 6 African countries I've gone over. So managed service, SBC as a service. So with this is we will manage the full voice infrastructure. You do not need to do anything. It is end-to-end 365. So as long as your Teams client is working, your voice calls will be working. And remember, this is PSTN calls, not just calls within Teams. Integrated DevOps. So as part of our onboarding as an Operator Connect partner with Microsoft, we had to get very deep into DevOps with them to make sure all the calls, all the API calls between our various platforms would work every single time on time. And finally, it's the interconnection between ourselves and Microsoft that I alluded to. What do the products themselves look like? So we've got one voice for business and one voice for enterprise. What we've done as a first, again, in many of these territories, is we have said we've bundled it with unlimited domestic non-premium voice minutes. So it means you pay one cost per user, and that includes all they can eat minutes. There is a fair usage policy applied, but based on the stats we've got, it's well above anything anyone is using at this point in time. So once again, as a first, unlimited domestic non-premium voice minutes that come with your licenses. So it's a managed SBC domestic calling plan, 8x5 support for business, custom reporting dashboard, and then communication credits for international voice minutes. What communication credits are, you can think of it almost like a calling plan or a business top-up. A business can buy a top-up of X amount, let's say $100. That top-up will sit in their business account waiting for someone to make an international call. Only when they make an international call is that communication credit drawn down. But until such a point, they are within their unlimited domestic minutes. So that gives you an idea of what the product looks like, why you should get it from Liquid, and high level on what the customer journey looks like. At some point, we'll be able to share a video on what it does, but you get onto the Teams admin center, which is much like your Office 365 admin. Once you've accepted Liquid and you want to sign up to us, we take you onto a portal, you consent and you sign up with us because we have to do the requisite KYC that a lot of territories require. Then finally, you complete the order and your IT personnel can use our IT or your people to then provision the service for each individual user. Once again, it is very simple. I have just attached 1 or 2 screenshots just to show when you get into the Teams admin center. So we, once again, are the only provider based in Africa offering this service from Microsoft. You can see the other vendors up there. So we offer it in the 6 countries. The first screenshot shows all the various providers. The second one shows you select Liquid. Which country do you want your voice to be made, or where do you want your numbers to originate from? You select some sort of high-level information, and then you'll be able at that point to offer it to your users. So just to conclude, we are the first provider in Africa. It is automated. We've got coverage in 6 countries. It's cloud-hosted infrastructure, so you do not have to buy any infrastructure at all, and billing plus support is all local. So thank you, and that is Operator Connect from Liquid.
Thanks, Winston. Thank you for that. Certainly looking at changing the way we historically have been communicating with each other. But I think COVID has sort of done that. COVID has just sort of deleted, a lot of the historical applications of how, we used voice and reintroduced a lot of new ways in which we can communicate with each other. I always
Correct.
think that, 2 years ago, few people even knew what Teams was, and now
Yes.
it's, now everybody just communicates. In fact, our entire conference is produced on the Teams
Within Teams.
platform. Yeah, and I believe that the Olympics were completely, sort of produced on a Teams platform, which is phenomenal, streamed across the world. I wanted to ask you a question, and I think we haven't got that much time left, but I just wanted to quickly ask whether you see this as something that could potentially challenge the traditional ACDs in the traditional contact centers. Is this a potential new way that business process outsourcing sector could look at how they communicate with people on the other side? As opposed to a traditional, least cost routing ACD contact center, that this could take that form, and what would be the benefits of a company to migrate from a traditional contact center platform to something like this?
Thank you for that one. So definitely, I think the first thing a business has to look at is the complexity around your IT estate. The minute you've got multiple systems and multiple platforms, you start to deal with multiple levels of authentication for your users. This makes it far harder for most businesses to pass some sort of security audit or security check. So that is the first hurdle you get over when you consolidate it into a single platform like Operator Connect. The second perspective is we are all at this point in time looking to drive down cost. Businesses should not be looking to increase their investment in on-premise type infrastructure that might drive a call center. We also need to understand that with Teams as an example, and Operator Connect, we are able to do AI, so we can do sentiment analysis, the things that the modern call center should be driving, because no one's got the time to sit and listen to all the call recordings and make sure it's good. We need to ensure, if you're a call center or any type of business, that your customers are happy. In addition, from an HR perspective, it's easy to onboard and offboard a user. With users working remotely, possibly not coming into the office, provisioning a user to access business tools at this point in time is as easy as sending them a link to download Teams. Once they've downloaded Teams, you assign them the relevant license, you assign them a number from one voice for Operator Connect. All of a sudden, that is a fully productive user who has possibly never come into the business. From an IT cost perspective, especially with sort of sales roles, businesses may have purchased mobile handsets for salespeople in order to keep their business and personal communication separate. All of a sudden, you can have that all on one device. It lowers the costs within a business. And in addition, one voice for Operator Connect from Liquid allows businesses across multiple territories to be seamless. Your users can call each other at zero cost, but they can also call their own customers and suppliers for a fixed cost, i.e. local calls are rolled into the bundle, so it is a flat rate. This makes it very easy from a budgeting perspective for finance.
It's really incredibly disruptive. Just like your CV said, this is the sort of stuff that you really thrive on, and that you enjoy, is like coming in and throwing the market on its head. And yeah, congratulations and well done. I really think that there's a tremendous opportunity, and yeah, congratulations for grabbing this and making this yours. And I know that we're going to be watching this space, and that we're going to see just the phenomenal progress that you're going to make in this space. So Winston, thank you very much for your time. It's really appreciated. I also just want to thank Team Liquid for always supporting the work of the Digital Council, always backing us, helping us move the lever, and trying to change the continent little by little. And one of the ways in which we do this is through platforms like this, where we educate and we talk about new things, and show that there's an opportunity to disrupt. So thank you very much to you and to everybody at Team Liquid.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we trust you enjoyed the session. Thank you to all our sponsors and partners for helping us bring this event to you. Please click on the next link to join the following session.